But I mean, I own Springer and Cup and RC, and I haven't transformed any of them. Well, mainly I have no interest in transforming them, but I've seen reviews. I'm not going through that fucking hassle. Fuck that shit. There's no payoff at the end.
Oh no, dude! Oh, I thought you were going a different way. Yeah, that's what I said about That's what I said about the Sunicons. Like, how are they going to get there? Oh, it's going to be a fucking super involved, shitty, thinker-hurting transformation that's not really going to amount to much.
But I think that there's
my bad. I'm sorry. I thought we were going...
and I think there's a chink in their armor because of those last few releases.
No, you're racist.
And I think people are just like, yeah, Paul C will hit me up later.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Verbally Challenged. I'm HarikenBx. Got a bunch of friends here with me. Let's say what's up. First up, Big Walt, Black Thanos. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Oh shit! Wow. Oh man.
All right. Next up, we got Russ the Muss. What's going on, man?
What's up, people? How y'all doing? I'm drunk off my ass. Just pay me no mind. I'm good. All right.
Oh yeah.
My man.
Drunk. That's what I like to hear. All right. Everybody's favorite pigment surgeon. We got JD. What's happening, man?
Meat bags.
He said it. Meat bags. Yes.
I did.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite fucking video game, buddy. I wish we could play more games, and I wish that game had been more fun. But anyway, he knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
All right. Next up, we got Master Skinny Toys. What's happening, man?
What's happening, guys? Hey, the new guy here. I'm very happy to be here.
All right. Peg leg himself, Josh Fisher. What's happening?
Not much. Just hoping I don't have any more limbs exploded tomorrow.
Speaking by pirates, I love it.
Hey, don't play with explosives, matey. I lost my bloody fucking leg.
Oh shit! All right, we got Greg from Mercy. What's happening?
Oh man. It's happening, buddy. It's happening.
Oh shit!
That sums it up right there.
Look, you call this verbally challenged. I call this soberly challenged. Because you always hit me up after I've done Shattercast at like 1 a.m. Well, maybe 10 a.m. But you know,
that's what we do. This late night, man. And last but not least, the analyzer Brian Brink. How are you?
What's up, dude? I just made a breakthrough. I got the back end of the Sunstreaker transformation.
Well, nice that you brought up the masterpiece, because I actually wanted to talk about that tonight. In the past few days, we got to see some reveals from Fans Toys of their Stunticons.
Yeah.
People have brought this up as like a little bullying tactic, because it seems like when other companies are putting out a product, namely we got X-Transbots and DX9 putting out their version of Stunticons, here comes Fans Toys throwing out a reveal of their version of these characters. So what do you guys think? Because the renders look really, really good. I think the sculpts looked awesome from what we got to see, but they're really, really big compared to the Autobot cars and other masterpieces that we've gotten so far. So just wanted to know if that's an issue for you guys, and what do you guys think about these tactics from Fans Toys in general? Just kind of putting out these future products, like saying like, hey, like don't buy this stuff because we're going to be putting our stuff out. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Who wants to go first and tackle this one?
Go ahead, Russ.
All right, I'm up. Well, first of all, I don't have a problem with what they do. How they do that shit. You know, they're just trying to strike while the iron's hot. They're trying to remind everybody, hey, we're here, and you know, we're going to do this too, and you know, that's fine. That's cool. That's good marketing. Good for them. Now, as far as the figures go, I don't know. I think you're right. They look good. Like, I don't know. The scale drives me crazy, man. That's not masterpiece scale to me. That's like some kind of like KO oversized scale.
Yeah, it is different, right? But just because we're so used to like the size of what these masterpiece cars are, and then you see like how they stack up next to those through the photos they released, and it's just like, damn, like it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right.
Plus, And of course, me personally, I'm already started on 2 groups of Stuntigons in. I can't do another one. Man. My wife's
So,
ready
Russ,
to fuck me up.
are you in on the stuff that's been out already? Like, have you?
Yeah, I've got my transfer missions. I'm in on. I've got to finish them up, and then and of course, I love the X Transbots. So those are the 2 I'm going to be doing.
Mm-hmm. So you're in on those 2.
Yeah, and after that, I'm out. That's enough. Stuntagon Wars are done for me.
Yeah, yeah. So you agree with the scale that X Transbots is putting out, them being like, as far as like the cars in robot mode, they scale very nicely, the same size as like the other Masterpiece cars. So that looks better to you, like to your eye.
I think it does. Yeah. I mean, I like that Masterpiece. I like Takara's scale. That's kind of what I'm used to. So if they scale with those guys, that's why I always imagined the Stuntigons were about the same size as an Autobot car. That's kind of what I thought as a kid, at least. And I don't know how it is on a Sunbow chart, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think the Stunticons are on the Sunbow chart.
Oh, they're not. I mean,
I'm actually looking at stills from the cartoon.
That's hard to do because in the cartoon, like one still might have them bigger than another guy.
Scale is all over the place, but they always did seem to be like of the same size as like the other Decepticons on the TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
That's true too.
Motor Master is bigger than Megatron, and
you also tend to forget there was animation errors back in the day.
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing people keep forgetting. You really technically go read some of the old Marvel Transformer comics. That's more accurate, give you more scale and more accurate. I can't pronounce the word than anything else.
The show is called Verbally Challenged. Don't worry about
it. Got me.
When it comes to the cartoon scale, is all over the place. It really just has to go by like how you feel. So it's nice to see your perspective on that. Like, so you're not down with what DX9 is putting out, like, because they already have Montana out, and that one's pretty big,
right?
Compared to X Transbots.
I like how it looks. Actually, I do like the look of it, but I just think the scale drives me nuts. So it's big. I think it looks like the Fans Toys is the one that's going to be bigger than the DX9. So it's
a little bit, in robot mode.
Yeah. So
no, that's cool, Russ. That's like, what does everybody else think? Like, as far as like the scale of those things, does the scale of what Fans Toys is putting out, does that look right to you? Like, what's everybody else's opinion on that?
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, for me, if the car modes are MP car, which I don't see how that's possible, but if it is, then I won't care. But the DX9, they already showed that the car is going to be bigger.
It's a little bit bigger, yeah. So that's kind of like a miss for some people that have seen that, because you want it to scale properly with the stuff you already have. And if Fans Toys is able to pull that off, what they show through their renders of the vehicle modes, it looks like they are going to be in scale with the other Masterpiece cars. So
that's interesting.
They'll pull it off. I think they'll pull it off.
Previously on Shattercast and Cut, somebody make some dramatic music.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun, dun. I feel like these robot modes are the same scale as DX9, and anyone who passed on them for the size of the robot modes yet jumped on these for Fans Toys is a hypocrite.
Well, I just said, through the renders, they're showing that the car modes, the alt modes, are going to be the same size as the other Masterpiece car. So I think that might be the difference for a lot of people as compared to the DX9. Because the
DX9 was like a hair. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Wait, in the alt mode?
And this is in alt mode, but it was a hair bigger.
A little bit more than a hair, I'd say. It looks like 25% bigger, like 25% to 30% bigger than what the
but factor in that fucking convoluted only do it once transformation that's gonna hurt your fingers. And the process, that's what I was getting at. That's why I said in Shattercast, I'm like, I don't know. And you're still going to end up with a robot, like a combined mode, the same size as the others, with like a hair of discrepancy. Like, just don't. But the thing about these, and this is what I said in Shattercast, so I'll say it here too. X Transbots was like the first to come to the plate, and then DX9 did.
Yep.
And I think Fans Toys was like, oh shit, we gotta get these renders out, because with Superion, they had all 4 or all 5 robots like ready to go. They didn't have robot modes, but they had those. But with these, they're like, they have 2. And I just think they rushed to get something out, but they didn't expect X Transbots to put out like a good toy.
Yeah,
and
that
people to embrace it.
I mean,
And then
who expects it, though, right?
no. Well, yeah. Well, they're doing. I mean, they're doing really good things right now.
They are.
they are.
making good toys.
I got to handle that crack up a little bit on Sunday, and I was pretty impressed with it. I didn't
Nice.
transform it or anything, but I was pretty
handling it
impressed.
right now.
But,
No, it's
for
nice.
for me, until I see the combined mode of all three or the companies, I'm just playing the patience game until I can see what that looks like.
That's smart, but I felt like the price point of the X Transbots has been very inviting though for those that kind of were trying to take the wait and see approach like I was, but then I'm like, man, for $40 fucking why not? And then the next one's only $60. Like,
I
so
won't
why not?
argue. I won't argue that point. But my new HVAC.
Well, they're all gonna combine the same. So it really comes down to the Minosaur.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it does because it's all gonna be based on Minosaur.
Yeah, Greg, you're right. I mean, in Minosaur, for me, I'm really kind of curious about the alt mode. Like, if it scales with MP10 or MP version 3 or whatever,
It has to.
it
has to. At least with MP10.
Yeah, like that transformations almost had me hooked. I mean, almost. That thing was kind of beautiful looking to me.
Yeah.
Same. But I didn't like the combined mode. I didn't like the limbs.
If you're into the IDW aesthetic, that's the one to get,
Well, I like them separate. I don't like the combined mode for them. So,
and the alt modes on those are gorgeous too. Like,
the alt modes are unbelievable. So that's kind of why I'm getting on transformations, just for the separate bot modes and the alt modes. I'm not even try that mess of a combined mode.
And that's the thing I've noticed from that company. Just they do a really good job with that, right? Like they're an offshoot of Generation Toy, right? Because I've noticed that from them too. Like the alt modes on the bots that they put out are always fucking gorgeous. They always look good.
It's Orbitron, Generation Toy, Transformations. It's all the same. The only difference is they stopped responding to requests for replacement parts, apparently. No, Big Bad Toy Store told me. They were like, hey, we know Generation Toys is whatever the first one was. And they're like, but they're just not responding or Orbitron, but they're just not responding to requests for replacement parts. So we're trying to figure it out. And I was like, well, can I just return it and give my money back?
They got a message up that says, we got your money, fuck off. That's
yeah, that's basically what it is, though. That's why I have a distrust of these companies that rock secondary names.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because it's just you kind of see it as it could be like a fly-by-night operation. They're just kind of closing down and setting up under like a brand new name, and then they're not responsible for anything that happened before. And Greg, you brought up the combined mode, like this Minosaur and stuff, kind of being the main allure. But the only one that we've seen like a render of from these three companies has been the X Transbots. Like kind of like seeing a render, and it looks very G1S. Like it almost looks like that's gonna be a figure of its own, and you're just gonna kind of plop these limbots like just right on top. Like what do you guys think about that?
That's what it was. And people that are like looking at the pictures, the renders, and they're like, I don't see how this is going to work. It's like, you clearly see how it's going to work.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that, though? Like, if it is a separate figure that you're just going to kind of add these bits onto and not something that you actually transform, do you think it's going to be like a transforming body or anything? And how do you think it's going to work?
We already know that the arm bots are going to split in half. We know that from TFCon last year because they had a prototype that people got to play with.
Oh, okay.
Split in half.
They did?
So we know, yeah.
Wait, was I last year?
I shared that multiple times. No one acknowledged what I was saying like it was fucking heresy. No, there was a model of their I can't think of the arm bot, but the people are it unhinges. Like there's die-cast clips that hold it together, and one part goes on the shoulder and one part goes on the arm. And people were like, "Oh no, I think it's going to be more involved than that." Like that's not the G1 transformation, and that's the fault. That's the weakness, and I think a lot of these combiners is they stray from the source material, and so they either end up losing accuracy. Granted, the G Creations or whatever the fuck it was, that was IDW, but you end up losing a lot of your audience base. And I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm watching Black Panther 2 in HD.
Nice.
It's amazing.
4K.
Yeah, I got a 4K TV, so I'm rewatching the entire MCU, and I'm on Black Panther right now. I think it's a big distractor for people that are like currently buying toys. Like, I mean, I think MP scale has moved into more of a tune direction than anything else, or at least an approximation.
I got you.
Of it. Yeah, you got it. And so, like, when I had Crack Rock in hand, the breakdown, who looks like a Crack Rock, like, I can see where it clearly connects on the back of the leg, and I'm pretty sure the dead end will, and then the other ones will split in half and fit on the arms.
Oh, see,
and
so
that's why.
I don't mean to cut you off. That's cool that you saw that, because I was trying to look on the underside of that figure, like in alt mode, and I'm like, where the fuck would this connect? Like, I don't see where it would connect.
That gap in the middle, there's two other gaps on the upper left sides if you're holding it upside down in car mode and looking at it from the bottom, and then there's a spot for it to clamp on the spoiler.
Okay, I'm gonna look again then and check that out.
I think the arms will do the same thing, and then I think Motormaster, much like the G1, will make the main body, which I don't understand why people were so mad about that, because that was like, they want G1 accuracy, but they don't want it to be like the G1 transformation.
No, but the render I think looks great as far as like that accuracy that people are looking for. It looks the closest out of all these combiners that I've seen from any of these companies.
Yeah, but the level of people that are like the conspiracy theories, they're like, I think it's gonna be a bunch of robots and then a non-transforming figure. Like, what
matchboxes?
What is that? Yeah, like, what is that? It's gonna be just a non-transforming figure in a box that comes with the last one. Like,
oh, I've heard
really?
that. Yeah, that's funny.
It's like, how does that make sense to you? It's just weird.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say that shit too. I can't remember where I heard it from. I heard that. I was like, what the fuck? Man, get out of here.
So that Motormaster is going to be pretty big then. Like, if it's going to make up the whole body, basically, and you're just attaching these other boxes to it.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Fans Project one, right? Where he became the whole legs, basically, and then the car's plugged in to it. Yeah.
Oh, that's how the
just MP10 scale.
Yeah.
So I could see it being $180 or whatever.
The main body, the Motormaster.
Yeah, I mean, because we've had this conversation nonstop all week. Apparently, I've been involved in a couple of threads, but not. I said all week. I'm sorry. Oh, let me take it back. I'm sorry. I used to get distracted by Black Panther, which is my favorite MCU movie. Okay, so today people are bitching about the price of Beast Wars Megatron, and then people are bringing up the fact that MP10 was $300 when he came out, which is true.
Yeah,
wasn't he like 280, like the original Takara? Was it something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but he was close to $300. But he came with a core bot and a trailer and a bunch of accessories.
Yeah.
He did get a discount after like the third or fourth re-release. He went down to $200. But my point is, like, I'm pretty sure that Motormaster is going to be like that. Like, it's going to be a lot more expensive, at least with the fans toys. I don't know about DX. I don't know about the X Transpods, but you know that trailer is going to be the arms and the legs.
Yeah,
kind of like the way the Fans Project one worked. Kind of like that.
Exactly. And the core bot's going to be like the hardware, and then the rest is going to be the software, and then the other stuff's going to like peg into it. I mean, that's the only way it can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad.
And people are going to bitch about the price of the main body because that's what people do.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Transbots putting out all those other limbs at such a smaller price point that what you would expect to pay, like usually it's $100 a limb. And if they make it up a little bit with if you're going to be getting all of that,
they announced a price for the Wild Rider yet? Was it like 60?
60.
It's $20 more than the crack.
What was crack up? Was that $59 or $49?
It was $40.
$39.99.
Yeah.
Plus shipping. The other ones are supposed to be $10 more plus shipping.
That crack up
for 60. I saw the flip.
I mean, I think these other ones are going to be more painted than crack up, because crack up they just had to make white, So, but like Wild Rider's going to be painted silver all the way through, maybe. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It looks slick.
Wild Rider looks really good. That flip out. That's
dude, I don't give a fuck. I just want to get Metasaur and be done. Yeah. I'm trying to finish this. I'm trying to finish Transformers. I'm not done with the line. I'm not tired of Transformers. I'm just ready to I already got season 1. I just want season 2 and be done.
Do you guys think, obviously the fan toys with the, the bully comments and all that other stuff, but do you think a lot of people are mainly upset that they see that light at the end of the tunnel and here we go, another Stunticon set when they could be working on something else? Do you think that's where a lot of the animosity animosity is coming
be?
from as well.
Probably.
Who would
Some
be?
of it is, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but if these are different companies and they're all somewhat, I guess, separate, besides the ones that we know are in kind of like cahoots with each other, like then they're not going to be knowing what each other's working on, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I
that
know. I
make
just think
sense?
the collectors are just thinking selfishly. Like,
Yeah.
God damn it,
Yeah.
I'm almost
Well,
done.
it's not
Someone
even
else make it.
that. Release figures in the same set. Even if you're competing, do it in the same season set. Like, Fans Toys, all they needed to do was release the rest of the Headmasters, like renders. They didn't need to release a combiner that two other companies have already fucking put their foot in.
That's what I mean about the bullying tactics, though, because it's like they always just want to throw out like, hey, we got this coming when other companies are doing something. But then it's like, okay, like we're waiting like a long time. Like they've already shown us other renders in the past of stuff that hasn't even come out yet. They're showing us more to deter us from going in on DX9 version.
Well, the only
You
thing
know,
I
like,
want
I-
to get in
Dude,
there.
well, hold on, just real quick, because I got to dip out. Like, not dip out for good, but mute. Last year for my birthday, I said this to Sharecast. Last year for my birthday, actually 2 years ago, I said, I want this figure. It was Trailbreaker from Vans Toys, and she was going to pre-order it for me. And you know what I got for my birthday this year? RC. Guess what didn't come out for 2 years?
Yeah, right.
So it's just an issue. It's like it's an underperforming, overpromising line. And like, how long are they gonna keep going with that? Just based on their fucking name.
And I don't think it's a viable thing to do anymore because it seems like other companies haven't been doing that. And like, look at the Bad Cube, Speed Bump, and Recon. Like, I think they just revealed that like in early May, and then here we go, like mid-June, they're out. Like, I like that. Like, you show a reveal and then like they're ready to go. Like, don't just show something and now we gotta wait a year, 18 months, 24 months.
Well, that was going to be my chime in. Is it so much bullying if people see products that are already out that they like? What difference does it make? What difference does it make if Fans Toys making it?
Because people might feel like, oh, okay, like if Fans Toys is gonna put it out, then why am I gonna put my money into these other companies?
Well, that's what I'm getting at, though. Why not put your money into the other companies if you like what they're making anyway?
True.
Because Fans Toys carries a name and like a stigma is not the right word in this case, but I'm going to use it anyway. Like, people just assume that Fans Toys is going to be better.
But for the people who don't like it, then it doesn't matter.
Well, because they have a pound of diecast in them, and people have this thing, but like, it's been shown over and over again that there are more QC issues with Fans Toys. And Bobby actually mentioned it, ironically enough, on Shadowcast probably about a year ago. But I cannot find the source. I couldn't because my phone changed, so I don't have the message history. But regardless, it's like, I mean, I've talked to retailers, and they're like, yeah, we have more problems with Fans Toys. It's just the fact that people are so fucking hard up on that name. And even my personal experience, it feels like the Fans Toys just like, we're going to put a product out, we know there's an issue, but we would rather sacrifice after-store sales to get that initial pre-order money.
Right,
so I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to like make a statement about the company. Like, I'm over that. But
yeah, I know. But I mean, to me, the last good figure they put out was Phoenix. I mean, I really like Phoenix, but basically they're riding the coattails of their Dinobots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I own Springer and Cup and RC, and I haven't transformed any of them. Well, mainly I have no interest in transforming them, but I've seen reviews. I'm not going through that fucking hassle. Fuck that shit. There's no payoff at the end.
Oh no, dude! Oh, I thought you were going a different way. Yeah, that's what I said about That's what I said about the Sonicons. Like, how are they going to get there? Oh, it's going to be a fucking super involved, shitty, finger-hurting transformation that's not really going to amount to much.
But I think that there's
I'm sorry. I thought we were going.
And I think there's a chink in their armor because of those last few releases.
Don't be racist.
And I think people are just like, yeah, Paul C will hit me up later. But I think still it's just like a mob mentality. Everyone's going, it's like, oh, look at these bullies again. Look at these bullies. But you know what? I mean, their reputation is starting to slip anyway. So, I'm just tired of reading it. I mean, well, actually, I guess I'm just tired of scrolling past it.
Matt addressed it though on Shattercast actually, and Matt said the same kind of thing you did about Reputation. He was like, "How long is it gonna last, man?
Yep.
How long you gonna keep riding on that Reputation?"
Yeah, you're only as good as your last release. Ultimately, I guess. Like it's like
And
a what have you
people
done
have
for me
been-
lately scenario.
Dude, I just got my RC from Fans Toys, and I want to sell it. I mean, I didn't just get it; I got it when it came out, but I want to sell it. And
my
I already
Matt's
sold
broke right
my
out of the box.
Werewolf. I've already sold my Werewolf. I'm on my 3rd copy of Werewolf. Like, their last few releases, and I'm with Brink, man.
Yeah.
Like, Jetfire was great, but after that, like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
And you know the only bias I'll put in there is like that the last few releases have all been 86 movie bots, which I typically didn't really like that much anyway. But still, regardless.
Well, Cup was 86 movie. I'm sorry.
Do you think that Fans Toys still gets by in that respect though? Because like those bots, the Cup, the RC, the Springer, they're packaged in robot mode. So if you don't want to, you don't have to transform them. And then they look the part. So if you just want to enjoy them on the shelf, for the most part, most people purchasing them are probably getting their money's worth in that respect.
Yeah.
So do you think they're getting a pass?
Maybe. I mean, I've been transforming my MPs the last couple days, and like I've looked at some, and some are Fans Toys, some are Bad Cube, and I'm just like, no. You know, it's like, but I'll be quick. I'll be quick to pick up a Takara one and transform it.
Yep.
By the way, that Sunstreaker I finally got transformed. It turns out you just have to squeeze it a little bit in every direction, and it'll all come together.
I highly.
Hey, Greg, are you still on? I just want to let you know this is my Perceptor, how he's still displayed on my shelf.
Oh, that was awesome.
I wish people could see that.
He still has a bag on his head.
That's fair. That's
He's so
awesome,
ugly.
man.
Yo, I announced on Shattercast. I actually made an announcement like halfway through. I had the Toro and I had the Masterpiece Bumblebee, like both in hand. And like as we were like discussing, I was casually transforming. And it took me about 2 minutes to flip the Toro, but it took me like 35 minutes to figure out how to flip Bumblebee because I haven't messed with it in a while.
Was Toro which
Toro's
Cliff
That's
Jumper.
Transbots, Cliff Jumper.
Oh,
That is the one you need to buy.
I got him today.
The MMC.
He is
Get the
great.
Toro.
He is very impressive.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
Does a lot.
It's very nice.
His backpack is the same size as Bumblebee, and if you don't like it, you can take it off by knocking out a pin. So
You know, I mean, I don't think it's that hateful. Like, just like when you
It's
started
not.
seeing like in-hand images of that figure, like if you're taking pictures of it, you know, again, it's that always that what people say. I don't display my figures from the back or whatever, but it doesn't look that bad. It's if you're looking at it like that, you're like, oh yeah, that's not the best.
Yeah, but you know what?
I mean,
I hate when people say that, man. It's such the biggest fucking cop out. I've said it before too, and then I think about it and I go, what a dumb thing to say. If a figure looks like shit from behind, say it. It does. You know? Jesus Christ.
no, but I remember like people were making a big deal about the cup, and then when a lot of them, when they got it in hand, it's like, oh, it's not that hateful. You know, it's not too bad.
yeah, the
Again,
same people got MP36, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so egregious! This is the worst thing I've ever seen." Well, they didn't say egregious because that's a little bit above their pay grade, but they're like, "This is horrible! This is terrible! Oh, it's so bad! Oh, it's the worst figure I've ever had!" And it's like,
Yeah,
what's wrong with it? You
dumb it
can
down
see
for them a bit.
3
Dumb it-
different marks.
Yeah, fucking Greg with the fancy words and shit. Go ahead, man.
I honestly though I did buy the MP I bought the Infinite Transformation one and I did sell my MP36.
Yeah.
But not for like bullshit reasons. Like it literally material wise was a little bit better.
Right,
Yeah, it
because
is.
remember the MP36, you transform it a few times and you can see it degrade, right? So-
Yeah, but it wasn't about backpack or backpack
Yeah.
cover or any of that bullshit. Because you can buy the backpack cover. Like, it's not an issue. Yeah, it literally was a better toy, and it's probably the first time ever in the MP versus KO struggle that I've ever said that the KO was better. But it just kind of was. Well, at the same time, they didn't pay
Doesn't
for
that
R&D.
transform a little bit differently though? Oh, it's the exact same transformation.
Same thing, and I think the infinite transformation one is the one that they actually like. I think they took like a rock to it, and you could see like how it doesn't get scuffed up, it doesn't scratch. Like it's really good. I have it too, Greg. I have the original, and I have that one.
Was it anodized? Is that how they got it to fucking be scratch proof? Never mind.
Maybe I don't know. It's like scratch proof. It's good.
That's a cookware term. Those you like to cook.
Oh yeah, when they bake it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like T-Fall. Remember T-Fall back in the day when they were selling like QVC?
Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it is. It's baked on. It's like the way that Gigapower goes about it. Or they bake that shit on. They bake some sort of a coating on.
Well, they did a good job, and now they got that. They got like the tune colored one, like the kind of the cell shaded one I see coming out. Like I say, it's just crazy, like what they're doing, and for the price that they're putting them out. But that's the whole other argument. This Fans Toys thing, like, what's the over and under? Like as far as like since we got these reveals, what do you guys think as far as like release? Because we already got X Transbots. You know, it looks like the flip out is coming out within the next month or so. We already got one DX9 release. So when do you think Fans Toys is going to get in the game?
DX9 doesn't come out till August.
Oh, I thought the Montana dropped already.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? They still what? They still have.
They've still got a
They still got
Trailbreaker
six shot.
rod.
Well, no, that hot rod never went up for pre-order.
Yeah,
I'll say that if the Unique Toys Bruticus was any sign, I'm probably staying away from the DX9.
Okay. So you weren't feeling that. Are you Zeta or the Toy World or like doing things?
Well, I recently bought all of Zeta, and I have the first 3 releases of the Unique Toys, but after seeing reviews and all that stuff, I am very unsure if that's what I want.
Oh, so you're not even sure if you're completely out yet or not.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to do. Like, they look good, the Unique Toys ones, they look good, but, you know, it's not big enough. He's not gonna be big enough.
How does everybody here on in regards to like the releases and like how we were talking about? Okay, Fans Toys did the reveal, so there's gonna be a portion of people that may wait and not go in on these other versions. Does anybody else here feel that way, or are you guys willing to check out the offerings from either X Transbots or DX9?
I'm already in.
Yeah, me too.
I'm holding the Crack Rock right now. I mean, I'm in on that one for sure.
Oh shit! Hit me up, dude. PM. If you're on Crack Rock right now, because I need about teener.
So line them up.
It's 4th of July tomorrow, bud. Bo.
Oh, what I was going to say, like Fans Toys, I don't have any Fans Toys products yet. They're releasing.
Good man.
Well, I've only been in the game about a year and a half. But
Need some Dinobots in your life, Josh.
I want the Giga
Skip
Power
those
Dinobots.
antibiotics and take whatever you got left over that we gave you.
Oh no! Hey, the antibiotics have been done for a couple of weeks now. But
and just strap some fucking Fan Toys out of box to your foot.
well, isn't there one actually? Isn't there one called Stomp? I could just call
There
it
is.
Stomp.
Yep.
There you go.
I could call
Oh
it Stomp.
yeah, you could strap that to your foot. Be like stomp. But you have to say stomp every time you take a step.
Well, I'm worried about that though because you're saying they are the most well known for their QC issues, so that might not be a good thing. I can't speak from that from personal experience.
What stomp? Is that Snarl?
I think it's Sludge.
Yeah.
I think it's their Sludge.
Is that the horny one, the Triceratops?
No, it's
No, the
Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus.
Oh, that's a pretty solid one. That one's pretty solid.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's one I own. So yeah, so you're good. Yeah, just duct tape that to your foot. Call it a day.
Jose, to answer your question, if you look behind me, this is the only room I have for giant robots right here. So I don't have room for any more masterpiece combiners, so I'm just gonna wait.
Just wait it out.
Yeah.
Jose, and no, I will not be getting Fans Toys. I'll wait for Zeta to come on out. See what they do.
Okay, so you-
Do you think is Zeta gonna do the Stunticons? Do you think?
I think they will.
You think they'll be the next ones to throw their hat into it?
Walt said, I'm
okay.
fucking waiting. They haven't even announced it, and I'm waiting for their version.
Oh,
Hey, listen,
that's pretty cool.
listen, wait a minute. I just recently got Zeta Blast off. I'm very impressed there with it. I got the Air Bot, and I got Brawl. People are pushing this whole fan toys agenda or whatever, being all over their dick and shit. Fuck them. No, I'll wait for Zeta.
My man just said Fan Toys agenda. Like he's like
It
fucking.
does.
He's like
conspiracy.
he's like
It
urban
does come
Trump.
across.
Yeah.
It
He's
does
like,
come across
Man,
as an intimidation
listen.
tactic.
Listen, I'm just being honest. Anytime Fan Toys put out something, it's like Fans Toys, whatever, this and that, and therefore they make your ass wait a year. That's, to me, that's totally disrespectful.
Or more.
Yeah,
Or
they make
more,
you
yeah.
wait. I mean, why would you buy their product and they put out all these renders and make you wait another year? No, fuck them.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, Walt, because that's what I was just saying earlier. Like how bad Cube, they showed us these 2 new Lambos that they put out, and we only had to wait about 4 to 6 weeks,
Therefore,
before
the funny
between
part
the
about it
reveal
is,
and the release.
and I'm gonna touch this. I'm gonna touch this right quick. The same people who's up in here bitching about Takara, well, they ain't putting up this and that. Then what do you think Fan Toys is doing? Duh, they're fucking you over.
But I think one of the things with Takara is the repaints and the re-releases of the same character again. I think is where some of that animosity is coming from.
Well, it depends on what the figure is, because they don't do a lot of that anymore. Because they're starting to make more obscure figures. Like we talked about that once again.
Well, it was just the Prime. It's just the Prime as an example, Greg, was some of the uproar that came about with the version 3.
Well, I was just thinking about like the Megatron. People were like, well, where are the repaint potentials? I'm like, well, they have one and they have T-Rex. Like that was like their one repaint. Like, and it's going to be more. And there's a lot more into it. But, I don't know.
And Brian, what's going to happen is the same people that made an uproar, guess what? They're going to buy it anyway. Watch.
I'm buying the KO.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
It's just a knee-jerk reaction, Walt. I mean, come on, you've been in this fandom long enough. It's just that's how these people work, man.
Oh, yeah. I just don't hardly comment because it's just, to me personally, it's just stupid. It's just, man, just to see people reactions and all that shit. It's like, I want to call, man, some of y'all some big dummies. You're a big dummy. Big dummy, man. That's how I have to go, man. Dummy.
I'm impatient. I can't wait for Fans Toys to take 2 years to come out with this shit. So I'll just go with what I'm doing and buy what's coming out now.
No, that's a good thing. It's good to hear that people, not everybody's gonna take that mentality. Like, oh, Fans Toys revealed it, so I'm just not gonna check out anything else until they put their shit out. Like it's nice to know that you're willing to take the leap.
To me, just like Takara, Fans Toys is the same thing. They're not the end all be all, man. There's plenty of other good stuff out there. Mm-hmm. So I just had to.
Well, look at what X Transbot's done in the past year with their releases.
And they've been really lighting it up.
They've put out 5 solid releases in a row, starting, I think, with that Trailbreaker, and their hoist were really good. This Cliff Jumper is great.
Yeah, I got their hoist. I like them a lot.
How is it? Is it better than the back cube hoist?
I think so. I think the proportions are better.
Shit hoist.
And the transformation is definitely better.
Wait, which one? Which company? MMC or back?
X-Transbot's hoist versus MMC hoist.
I got the MMC Trailbreaker and like part just fell off of.
Oh, it's fucking bad, damn.
And I have their Cosmos, and it's like his little ass arm can't hold the weight of his own little ass arm. Like it's a tiny figure. Like you should be able to figure that shit out.
That sucks because MMC you don't usually hear of those.
I've honestly never had an MMC figure. I was 100%. Like as far as our Ocular Max, and everyone's kind of said this on the podcast, so not to whatever, but
not even Mirage.
I haven't had one. I've had 3 copies of that figure, and they all had the same issue.
Oh yeah,
with the limp ass fucking his right. Wait, hold on. His right, my left arm. Like that whole like joint system was just. And then I got
the Mirage
doo.
And then I got the Jaguar, and he was fine. He was a little loose, but he was fine. And I got the birds, and they were just like garbage.
Oh,
but then I got the Rumble and Frenzy, and they were perfect.
Yeah,
I could not have asked for a better thing.
I've heard good things. I've heard good things about those.
It's just so weird, and it's literally, legitimately your mileage may vary thing. But do you really want to be spending hundreds of dollars with a company that's business model is your mileage may vary? I mean, honestly,
no, definitely
it's
not.
like even with X-Transbots, with their Cliff Jumper, their Bumble Jumper, Bumper, or whatever the fuck he's called, apparently has paint issues, like, across the board, like, where, like, different parts got made at different times, the paint mixtures didn't match up. So they got assembled in two-tone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've seen it on TFW. I did not buy Conciliago
Caprizo
or what
or
the fuck
something
he's
like
called.
that.
Yeah, Mob Lawyer is what I've been calling him because I can't remember his actual name, but it reminds me of Conciliago.
Hubcap.
But yeah, I didn't buy him, but I've been seeing it, and apparently Toy Dojo made a statement, and it's been a big thing on TFW. I don't know, man. Like, you can't really, I mean, at the end of the day, you really can't, like, in my humble opinion, you can't back a company that makes third-party Transformers with any sort of I mean, you honestly can't really back Takara either, but for the sake of argument, you can't really back any of these companies because they all have QC issues. They all do. It's just the amount of, it's at the point where the public, the fan base, accepts them as normal. And it varies by, like, if I told you KFC put out a perfect product, but it had a paint blemish on the cheek, then people would be like, worst thing ever.
Really?
But if I told you Fans Toys put out a thing and they forgot to paint it foot, it's like, easy fix. No, it's like that same kind of thing, though. But it is, though. It's that, like, same kind of level of, like, bias.
No, yeah.
When, honestly, at this point in the game, it should be, like, what were you, like 7 years of, like, mainstream third party? Like, we're not, this isn't Fans Toys kit, like, territory anymore. Like, these are, like, companies that have been putting out products relatively consistently. Like, there should not be issues anymore.
At least not like they used to have in the beginning.
Yeah, and that goes for Takara too, though. Like, there should not be issues, but the level of bias is.
There shouldn't be issues on a widespread scale, but with anything that's mass produced, you're always going to have a few bad eggs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if you get one of those products, then that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't really nowadays hear so much like that a lot of these figures having widespread issues from any like particular company. Like, remember, we used to hear it a lot from X-Transbots, and I was always wary on picking up their products because of that. But it seems like the last, I think people were saying it over the last few nights, like the last year, maybe a year and a half of their releases have been pretty on point compared to the stuff that they put out before. So then your reputation starts to change over time if you keep putting out a good product. And we were just saying the flip side on Fans Toys, where everybody seemed to kind of give them the pass, and still do, but we could see now the cracks in their armor as far as people not being happy with the transformations or some of these latest releases having issues of their own, like the RC.
The pattern I see, though, is like, and this is not super specific to anything, it's a general observation. You get like 3 people that have issues with the Takara toy, 2 of which broke it by being ham-handed on like what happened with Megatron. One of which admitted that he was a little rough with it, and he's the one that broke it. Takara's garbage! So then you have like say MMC where parts are falling off, and it's like it's just production issues, whatever. And then on top of that, you have people that have issues with Fans Project, and it's just like isolated instance. It's not a mass issue. It's an isolated instance. It's a negative majority. Like, it's just like everyone like tends to take a side. And the problem with that is, like, none of these issues ever really get fixed. I mean, they do eventually, but not as quick as they should. People should contact Takara. People should contact Fans Toys. People should contact MMC. They should contact X-Transbots. They should contact every single one of these companies. But look, I have this issue. It needs to be resolved instead of just saying, oh, I'll fix it at home. That is how we get better. Like, that's how we get progress. And that's what, ironically, that's what Keith did. He got so many complaints that he invested money into fixing his biz. Like, hiring more competent staff, employing a dedicated QC team, improving materials. And that's how we're getting figures like Toro. And Crack Rock, yeah. God, dude, I want to smoke that thing so bad, but I don't want to burn up my Jesus Christ. That thing looks like fucking, we used to call it butter. I don't know, way back when I was in that scene. But that's exactly what the fuck the thing looks like. Like, I seriously want to fucking light that thing up every time I see it. And just fucking huff the vapors. Yeah, well, I just told everybody who doesn't know me a little bit too much about me, but that was my past, like, 15 years ago. Anyway,
that's
yeah,
what production's for.
Yes. More work for Jose. No, but you get figures like Toro, and like they're solid as fuck. And that came from feedback. And like actual positive feedback. It's not from just people being like, fuck you, Keith, piece of shit. Like, who's gonna respond to that?
You gotta be constructive if you want things to happen. You know,
and they need to do that. People need to Takara too. And people need to do that to all of these companies. But the problem with a lot of fans toys posts, like, because I follow TFW. I don't always comment, but I follow the threads. And people are like constantly like, oh, this is a one-off. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I just got a bad unit. I got a bad one. And they don't really communicate with the owner or the person who's in charge. It's debatable, depending on who you ask. The person who's in charge of customer service, like, you need to let them know. And if they don't change after you let them know repeatedly, then maybe you don't need to do business with a company, no matter how nice their product looks. I don't know. I just think I think this is the market that we are dealing in, like with third party, unofficial transformer robots. There is so much potential for interaction between the consumer and the producer. And I think that a lot of people aren't used to that because they've been dealing with a major company for so long, be it Hasbro, Takara, whatever. But there's so much potential for interaction, and I just don't feel like enough people utilize it. And I think if we really engage these companies, I think things would change. Because I don't think anyone's out to lose money. I don't think any of them are out to lose money, whether they put out a shitty product or not. Like, I think they think that the bottom line is good enough, and they don't realize that people want a little bit more. And maybe they think they can get away with shit. And I think if more people reached out to these companies and their customer service departments or the owners themselves or any outlet of communication, I think things would get better. And I mean, even say that for Takara, because Takara's in a place right now where, like, if the hype is real, I don't think they can afford to lose more international customers. Because I don't think their domestic base is doing that great. They're trying to diversify, but still, like,
and they don't offer like parts for service and stuff like that. Like, you're all shit out of luck.
Great replace.
Yeah. So what is Takara's problem then? I mean, we haven't really. They were pushing stuff on out. What was it? Two or three times within 1 year. Was it 2016 or 2017? Because they were pushing stuff out, and it's just seeing the Beast Wars Megatron. That's really been it. Besides repaint.
Well, they got the Dinobot that's coming. They got the Beast Wars Megatron. I haven't seen anything else as far as like the G1 Masterpiece, but they've been putting stuff out.
Supposedly we're seeing Trailbreaker within a few weeks.
Yeah, that's what I heard from a certain agent. Last year, actually, or maybe early this year.
Or MP 3.0. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, that's been the rumor. The rumor has been either Trailbreaker, Blaster, Jazz, or
I found something. I found an old screenshot I made on my phone from Facebook where somebody who's been known for leaked Jazz as MP39. I was like, oops. Well, I guess that was wrong because it ended up being Sunstreaker. Yeah, we shall see.
Well,
we shall see.
And there is a Jazz coming out this month.
Bro, that
Transformer.
Dude, I just see a review on that guy.
I interact with a guy. Well, I used to interact more, and then I kind of pissed him off by speaking out of school when I didn't realize that it was actually out of school. But he is involved with some third-party companies and also involved with people that are like with the factories. And he has shed a lot of light on stuff that has come to pass. So I feel like we're going to be getting a few figures. Maybe not the ones we want, maybe not the ones we deserve, but the ones we need right now are going to be coming up. That was a Target Night quip, but there might be a Blitzwing, and there might be a Trailbreaker. We know they're working on one. They said as much. Trailbreaker and a Hoist, and then a Blitzwing is probably going to come out.
Yeah, Trailbreaker and Hoist make the most sense because you can do both. You know what I mean? That's typically the MO.
Slightly retool Hoist.
Well, I mean, they legit said they're working on those. Like in that interview, they legit said that's in the process right now. We're trying to figure out how to make them the most different. But yeah, from what I've heard, the next independent Decepticon is supposed to be Blitzwing, so we'll see.
Wow, that's going to be interesting. I thought it would have been Galvatron.
Well, people have said they've seen a Galvatron prototype for a while, and these are also people that would be in the know. It's just shopping it around, like getting like costs that from factories that like fit Takara's bottom line. I mean, you have to think, like, especially if they're in as like bad a shape as people make it out to be, like they're gonna try to maximize profits and minimize costs as much as possible. And like if they have the perfect Galvatron design, but it requires a little bit extra tooling, they might would shelve it and sit on it for a little bit and try to get to a point where they can produce it at a good cost. Like, because I mean, once again, as much as a lot of people forget, Takara's a business, just like Hasbro. Yeah, we buy their stuff and we're passionate about Transformers, but at the end of the day, motherfuckers got to get a paycheck. And it sucks. And I know it seems selfish for them to say that, but like we really are the lowest common denominator. I mean, we do buy their stuff. Well, actually, no, I take it back. The people that knock off their stuff probably are the lowest common denominator. But and the people that buy the knockoffs. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But like the people, like we sit with bated breath every time there's a toy show, thinking we're gonna see a new masterpiece mold. But honestly, like Takara and Hasbro are gonna do what's best for them. They really are at the end of the day, and it's not even a slight to us collectors. It's just it's what's got to be.
Smart business.
Yeah, exactly. It's business. It's what it has to be. And I feel like that's something when we discuss, and I say we as in like just as a whole, like as in like an encompassing of everything. Yeah, exactly. We discuss, and people are like, "Why doesn't Hasbro or why doesn't Takara care about their fans?" People don't realize, first of all, Japanese tastes are different, and it's mostly limited to Carbots. And at the end of the day, Takara is a business, as I just said. Like they have to pay their fucking staff, and they have to make the decisions that they think is the best. And it might not be the decision that fucking Mark, simple guy in Minnesota, thinks is the best for him. It might not be. And like I mean I get it. Like they kind of should cater to the people that are spending money, but at the same time they don't really look at that. I mean they have boards, they have investors, they have people involved past Hasui, the guy that did MP10. Like he was passionate about the line, and people were like, why did they move him to Combiner Wars? Well, because they needed him elsewhere. Like it doesn't really matter what we spend. Like it's what the total market, it's like what they make. Like it's quarterly.
And we're not the market either, especially in terms of Takara. Like we're not the Japanese market. They're looking at it, from their aspect, not from our aspect of.
Well, they actually sent Hasui to Hasbro to get the fucking Commander Wars team on track because they were fucking up. Little known fact, but still, yeah, it's the same thing. At the end of the day, it's all about profits and margins and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because it is a business at the end of the day, and we're a very small majority of that business. We're not even a majority at all. We're not the market share for those companies. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's where third parties they kind of reign because they cater to us. But like they're not moving as many units as Takara is at the same time, and they cut corners and things like that, and they can like manipulate numbers and move things around, but really like it's not the same business. And that's the thing that people don't understand.
And it's not as many facets to their business either, because Takara is not just producing Transformers. They're a toy company that produces many other different lines and brands, not just the Transformers brand. So
yeah, and for the people that are into KOs, which I'm not shaming, but like that's another thing people throw out there. Like, well, how does Wei Shang put the same thing out, or blah 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 put it out for half price? Well, you don't have to pay the designer, and you don't have to pay for the molds. You're pretty much like a lot of times they're using the same molds, or they're stealing molds from the same factories.
Like corporate
so it's like
espionage type shit.
Yeah. So it's like you're cutting a giant cost of production by doing that. I don't know. It's confusing and it gives a lot of people a headache, and I get it. But then I turn around and I don't mind paying. God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I don't mind paying for Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron because I know like what goes into it. Just like I just kicked my cat in the face. I'm so sorry, buddy. Well, he just decided to land on my foot as I'm walking, and I didn't mind paying for Dinobot. I didn't mind paying for Megatron, like the MP36, like because I understand, and you can always get it cheaper if you pursue different. Like
The thing
I
is,
don't
we
know,
have
it's
to
just-
we have to support these products though if we want them to still make them.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
We don't. If everybody takes the wait for the KO mentality, you know, we're not going to be getting these new figures from Takara. And
Well,
Hasbro.
Matt brought up a good viewpoint on Shattercast, not to shamelessly promote my podcast. There's not a lot of repaint for Beast Wars figures, so they're going to cost a little bit more.
That is a fair point. I mean, we're getting that Shadow Cheetor or whatever, but that's really the only thing they could do. Like, what else can they do with those?
They could do a
Very
Tiger
true.
Trot out of that if they wanted to. A little bit of an upgrade,
Like a retool, like a retool.
Yeah.
No, but something like a Megatron though, like it's a T-Rex. Like you really knock out of that. There's no other character. That's
They can
like
make
that,
Jurassic
you know,
Park
so-
toys for it.
Yeah. So
And the Dinobot they can make a Grimlock out of, because back in the day they did do a repaint and made a Grimlock out of it. So they might do that.
I mean, they could repaint those Beast Wars figures at least once, but it's not going to be any kind of like real character or anything like that we've seen. I feel like it's easier when it comes to the bots because they could pass it off as Diaclone or whatever, but with Beast Wars it's just that. So the repaint potential is not there like it is for the other characters. So that's a good point.
Well,
Good
with
shit for Deluxe to bring that up.
with the Beast Wars Megatron, the only real repaint would be T-Rex, who was a red or magenta and black dinosaur with blue and silver robot parts. To Walt, if they were going to do a Tigertron, like honestly, it would have to be animation accurate, which is what they're going for. It would need to be an entirely different mold.
Yeah, because he was about twice as tall.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, like the toy was it was a cop out at the time when Hasbro didn't have any money. Yeah, the Black Cheetor. Yeah, that's a thing. That's like was that an e-hobby or a Japanese exclusive?
I think
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
Which
the one
is
that's
really-
coming out, the Shadow, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
Shadow Panther. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really weird because like. Did you guys see the SCCC exclusive? The one with Bumblebee and the tapes, and they're doing the Dial and Zara molds, and they're like super fucking obscure Japanese molds, and they're doing one in like weird orange. Like they released one in normal colors, and then the other one's gonna be like translucent orange. So it's super weird. But these are toys that like the knockoffs go for $150.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's a combiner. It's a weird dino combiner that turns into like the ugliest. Just Google Dial and Zar. Dial and Zaur. It's like the ugliest combiner I've ever seen. And there are 2 tapes. They're dino tape. And it's coming out with a weird gold Bumblebee. It's the most random fucking set. But they don't even re-release them in their proper colors. But people are still going nuts because they can't get that mold anywhere else. Yeah, KO Toys did a set probably 6 years ago. And yeah, they were going for like $150. Yeah, like the re-release and recolor and reissue market is super weird with Transformers. I mean, it's weird all the way around, but with Transformers, it's super odd. And so I see people jump on things just to have a version of something, but I don't think that applies as much to Masterpiece. I mean, you have like your G1 or Diaclone purists that want, a Black Trax or a Shadow Panther or whatnot. But
Yeah, I could care less. I couldn't care less about any of that stuff. Like, just give me the original character. You know?
And if it costs me an extra 20, 30, 50, $70 to get like something like I really want that can't be repainted, I hate to say it, but I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I know how business works. I'm in business.
Yep.
Like I'm into retail and I'm into the back end wholesale business. Like I know how it works. Like I'm fine with it. I'll pay it. Just get me what I want.
And
Don't
it's a
give me some half-ass bullshit. Give me what I want. Don't repaint fucking Dinobot purple colors and tell me it's Megatron. Give me
Exactly.
a proper version of it. But that's just me.
And it's going to be pricey, but apparently what they're saying is that it's the biggest masterpiece released to date. You know what I'm saying? So that might say something. And I'm sure with a price point like that, regardless of all the other factors that go into it, lack of repaint potential and whatnot, I'm sure the materials are going to be top notch. And I'm sure it's going to be painted, to all gills, and it looks good already from the photos that I've seen. Like.
It's beautiful.
Did you guys see that bullshit like meme that's going back and forth, comparing it to like another figure, and it's like it's a parts former. And
I
blah,
just
blah,
saw
blah.
yeah. I saw that in the cafe.
Just
earlier.
because of that one scene. Yeah, because that one scene that they cater to for the fans of Beast Wars, like you can pop all the Dinobots parts off, or you can pop all the dinosaur parts off, excuse me, and you can have him brushing his goddamn fucking dino teeth on his hand with a toothbrush that comes in the set just to cater to that one scene, and people are like hating on it.
Does it come with the duck?
That was Transmetals, Megatron.
Oh, okay.
So it does not.
Dr. Wu will throw them short if they don't.
Well, hopefully they'll make a Transmetal, or hopefully Perfect Effect will slip one in, or Dr. Wu will make one for that, because I don't see Takara making a Transmetals or Transmetals too.
Oh, I do.
Eventually, though.
Eventually, just
I think so. Eventually, because they're already going down this Beast Wars route, and we're getting those. Yeah, we're getting the season 1 characters right now. So yeah, I see that coming eventually, maybe in the next few years.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Takara is Carbots were like the big seller over there. Carbots are popular in Japan, and they're starting to run out of licenses. They have Mazda, they have Porsche, they have BMW, they have whatever. But then it's like the little companies, like what was the jazz kit they add on?
Martini.
Like that's where they're having the issues to make a G1 Jazz, and that's what they're going for. They're going for a vehicle-accurate Jazz, so they're starting to run into issues now. And the same thing with Mirage and like those other cars. Like they probably have. I mean, I've heard, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I've heard from the same people that have seen shit that has come out that they have prototypes for all that stuff. They're just waiting on licensing. So, I mean, I really think a lot of the expanding into Beast Wars was trying to
money for the licensing.
Exactly, or at least like be active while they're waiting.
That's interesting.
I mean, I have God's word from a dude who I trust to death that Takara has 2 prototypes for a long haul and a hook.
Wow.
Oh shit. Wow. Oh shit.
And this was from like a year and a half ago, but they're just trying to move forward. And I don't know if it's true. He might be a liar, but same guy that's told me about other toys that came to fruition soon after. So, and he was like, it's going to be a while. And then all of a sudden his other stuff just popped right up, just like he said. So we'll see.
Takara, man, that's the boat on Devi, man.
Yeah, but then when they do it, people are gonna go in and go crazy.
Dude, for $1,000, you think they will?
They're gonna do $1,000.
Sorry, 800.
They're gonna be hold on, six spots.
Hey, real quick with the Fans Toys inability to put out their Trailbreaker and now this thing with the Blitzwing. If Takara is making those, Fans Toys does have a track record of not going against the mothership. Would that exonerate them in the nerds' eyes as their tardiness?
It's funny you say that because I said that on the podcast that the one company that Takara will not fuck with, or excuse me, Fans Toys will not fuck with if Freudian slip there. It's Takara.
Yep.
Wow.
And you know, Greg, you guys did that interview with that guy, you know, weirdly through text or whatever.
That was so terrible.
Remember, though, one of the things they said is we love the Masterpiece line and we just want to contribute to it. And that was one of the things that I really loved about Fans Toys ever since.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And you see it because, like, what have we not heard from? And that was the topic. So that was a listener question we got. In fact, did you send a question? Somebody sent a question in.
It wasn't me.
It might have been you. Yeah, it might. It was somebody that's like a regular listener. They were asking about that, and it was like, well, their sound wave. Oh no, it was Paul. I think it was Paul. Or MP Collector, one of the two. They were like, well, you know, what about this? And I was like, well, Fans Toys never said shit about Soundwave after Takara announced theirs, and they kind of keep the Hot Rod dream alive, but I ain't really seeing any progress on it.
Yeah, I think
outside of that, everything else has kind of come to fruition in some capacity.
Yeah, and the last drop of their Hot Rod renders, I don't think was even done by them. I think somebody just made another post about it and was like, "Oh, look, I remember this," you know, kind of thing.
Oh, because someone was asking about the Blitzwing and about their consistency with announcements and whatever, and they were like, "I just got into third party," and I'm like, and their first question was, "So what about how consistent is Fans Toys?"
Yeah, maybe it's Josh. Was it Josh's question?
No.
He'd be like, "Where's my leg?" No, I don't hate Fans Toys. Like, contrary to popular belief, and I own pretty much all their releases, but they are not a company to follow for consistency by any means.
Not end all be all.
They really aren't.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I said it a couple episodes ago. My birthday is May 26th. Kit's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "RC." And so I got it. I got RC. And I was like, you know what's ironic? I wanted Trailbreaker a year or two ago, and he was supposed to come out on my birthday. And still haven't seen a prototype.
Still haven't seen it. Yep.
And that was supposed to have been out a year or two ago.
It was a while.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, they announced him during the Trailbreaker Hoist Wars. Pardon me.
Yep, exactly. Again, like when other people putting out those products, they had to throw their hat in, and look, over a year later, still nothing. So
y'all should have Matt to this. Matt's got some rage. Matt's got some good rage.
All right. Well, we could start wrapping this up. It was a good discussion, man. Thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. Just good to get everybody's opinions and get a good back and forth going. So let's get some where you at before we head out, and we'll call it a night. So first up, Brian Brink, I'll start with you.
Yo, you can find me in the ROC Facebook group, plus others, and at Brinkalizer on Instagram. Check out various podcasts on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel.
All right, Greg from Mercy.
You can find me in the Cybertron Cafe. You can find me in the Shattercast page and chat. Sometimes I sleep under Brian Brink's deck. So, like, if the weather's nice, you might come poke me under there. Sometimes I'm inadvertently starting shit online, and I don't mean to. I'm on TFW under Greg for Mercy. I purposely start shit there sometimes. I stock Fans Toys when I have the money to fly to China, and yeah, I smoke crack. So, not really. But I'm around. I'm a man of varied taste.
Nice. All right, Big Walt.
You can catch me on Facebook, Information Creep, and actually on Instagram.
Fucking Information Creep.
Yeah, I got to get on there. And on PS4, Big Walt Baby 75.
Happy.
We're doing. I'm on Xbox. Silken Gravy 14. That was the name they gave me, and that was the name I adopted. So we're doing that.
I like that.
It fit because I'm a culinary major, so I was like, Silken Gravy is like, that's what I strive for.
All right, next up, Master Skinny Toys.
You can find me on Facebook as Vinny Jorcizin. I'm in the ROC forums, and on YouTube, Master Skinny Toys. And you can also find me on Xbox as Skinny Master 78.
Nice. All right, Josh Fisher.
Find me by my name on Facebook, and probably making amusing photos with stump puppets here of late. I hope you guys are enjoying those.
That shit was funny.
I started an Instagram account for the stump.
Oh, that's great.
It's stump_puppet_reviews.
You were fucking right in that. Dude, I honestly thought, that was good. That's good. I thought that you would have
but
been more spirits, so I'm happy to see that.
Aside from that, you can find me on a show called All Queued Up Podcast that publishes every other Friday, and Off the Runner on Wednesdays.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. And we had a couple of people on earlier that had to drop out, so shout out to Pigment Surgery on Instagram. That's JD Brocious on Facebook. And who else was in here that hopped out? We had Russ the Muss was also here, making his first appearance on Verbally Challenged. So you could check him out, Russell the Love Muscle on Instagram, and Russell Dubois on Facebook. All right, so check him out there. And he does reviews on YouTube as well. So once again, guys, thank you for hopping on. As I say all the time, you guys have an open invite to join me here each and every single week, and I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for sending me that fucking link.
All right, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that conversation. And I want to thank the guys once again for hopping on here with me. And I extend that invitation to anybody out there listening. If you're a friend, if you're a listener of the show, and if you want to hop on and have a conversation here with me on Verbally Challenged, you're always welcome to do so. Just reach out, hit me up, and we'll get you on a future episode. All right, guys. Before we head out, just want to remind you can find me all over social media at HarikenBx. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, and the PlayStation Network. All over social media at HarikenBx. If you want to follow my more personal page, you can follow me on Instagram at Diaz4Fitness. Some quick shout outs. Remember to check out realmofcollectors.com. We're on Facebook as a group, Realm of Collectors, and we're on Instagram at Realm of Collectors. Pull up a chair to the cool table. It's a hub for like-minded podcasts, including Enter the Realm and Breaking the Mold. Those shows come to you Mondays and Tuesdays, respectively, on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. The only show to watch on Saturday nights, Plastic Fanatics, the late night aftercast. That's on Victory Saber 77's YouTube channel. Those 3 shows are also available in audio format on iTunes and Google Play. The rest of the shows on the cool table are Shattercast Uncut, Nerd Rage Radio, Toy Detox, Stasis Lock, Building Up to It, Fresh Communication, Beer and Bolters 40K, and 8 Weeks. You can find the cool table on Facebook along with links to all these other great podcasts. All right, guys, that's it. That's the episode. Thank you for the download. Thank you for listening. I really, really appreciate it. We'll be back soon, real soon with the next episode. All right, so please take care, stay safe, and peace out.